That's why
this young lady walks into the butcher shop. There's a young lad behind the counter. She said, I would like a roll down and duck. So he gets back into the cooler. Rows and rows of ducks hanging there. So that man sticks her finger up. Well, I'm sorry, that's a Californian teal. Goes back in. Does the same thing again. No, my boy, that deserves me in right wing. Well, this time he goes to a whole bunch, sticks them down on the counter, and teaches right up. There's my boy. Thank you, wrap it up and I'll pay for it. So, he wraps it up. She's walking out and she says, by the way, you're new here, aren't you? Where are you from? He turns and drops his pants and you're the expert.
Where are you from? I've come from Aylesbury.
my friend.
2.5 years now. The hospital there. Well, I didn't know. I know the area. It's probably totally changed.
An association function, unfortunately, for diplomatic reasons, politics. So I have been pressurised into getting the ball rolling as regards things like toast and whatnot. But first of all, I'd like to say, when you look at your menus, it says here that it's a book launch dinner, but that, of course, as regards importance, has been superseded by the most memorable event today, when the Belgian Croix de Guerre was finally presented to Dear B, albeit posthumously, and most memorably the delightful speech by Carol, which says more than I can ever say about a wonderful man. A man who will live in our memories forever, we're quite sure of that. And as I say, this has been sprung on me, so I've got no notes to say, you know, that's good, I'm making a speech about it, like that. Yes, I'm quite sure. And we do have a presentation to make shortly.
That's what we discussed last night, Jim.
He's got a row of crosses there. They do let me in for it. I don't know why. But it has been a wonderful, fantastic weekend. As usual, such wonderful people as you are. Why you keep coming, I don't know. But it is so delightful. Lovely to see you all. And one of the main events of this evening is connected with the fact that we have with us from Belgium a certain gentleman, Jan Matthijs, who is the president of the Belgian Spitfire Club, and I would like to present him with Geoffrey Nutkins' latest masterpiece, which is annotated at the bottom, you know, to the Belgian Spitfire. So, Jan, would you like to come and take hold of this?
Very bad speaker, and my English is that good. So many times, and everything, all the bad things I learned from the Brits. And there was one a small reminiscence I want to make. When I was still in the service, I was invited as a guest to Willenraad Air Base. And of course, as the main guest, I was asked to make a speech. So I said, gentlemen, I'm pleased that I'm dining out here as a very important guest, And it looks to me like coming home because I had many before in the RAF. And then somebody said, why on earth did you leave the RAF? I said, I joined the Belgian Air Force because the pay was better. I really got a standing ovation. I'm very pleased to see you here, and your father or grandfather, he was a great man. Thank you very much.
This presentation is a superb work of Geoffrey Nutkins. It's the new one which Geoffrey's just done, and he's a fabulous artist, is Jeff. And he refused to take payment for this on condition that I got down on my hands and knees and begged any 609 pilots here tonight to sign just 10 of the prints for him. If they would do that, please, it'll save me having to write a cheque out and I'll be back. So, sometime before you go, would you please come down to the desk and sign them? But before we do that, what's the next item on the programme?
You're going to toast people.
Oh yes, we do of course have some toasts. If you'd kindly be upstanding for the royal toast, we'll drink the Queen. Secondly, please, if you would drink to His Majesty King Albert II of Belgium.
Second of Belgium.
Now I would like to introduce you to Squadron Leader Brian Waite, who is the current boss of 609 Squadron at RAF Leeming.
And you
Over
can
to
all
you, Brian.
You can all sit down. When's the bus going, Jim? Please sit down. First of all, I'm absolutely delighted that Jim's given me the opportunity to talk for about 2 minutes. That's all, probably 3 minutes, okay? But before I start, I would like to offer my thanks, and I'm sure you all would, to Jim for organising the weekend.
Yeah.
He actually didn't prime me to say that. Because sometimes I do act as his PA, or he acts as my PA, whichever way around. But all I wanted to say to you, honoured guests and everybody who's gathered here, as the OC of the current squadron, which is not a flying squadron, I know there was some scepticism at times, 609 being reformed as a non-flying squadron, but this year, for 6 months of this year, we proved that we are what we are. We're a force protection squadron, survive to operate, and that may not mean an awful lot, but basically an airfield now has to have a sector protection scheme against intruders, explosive devices, and obviously it's called NBC, nuclear, biological and chemical warfare attacks. Now biological and chemical are the major systems nowadays, so they do need specialists. The specialists don't come from the regulars anymore, they come from the auxiliaries, and we are a survive to operate force protection squadron. That's what 609 is now, fact of life. If you'd asked me a year ago, if they didn't use us in the possibility of a Gulf War a year ago, then 609 would have probably been brought into question with the other 4 OSSs. 603 is one which was with you today. In December, I was asked to get some idea of which people on 609 would deploy if called out. And we did that over Christmas. In January, the call-out notices went out to 64 of your squadron. Auxiliaries, reservists, full-time reservists. Not the regulars who are on the squadron, the reservists. Of that 64, since February this year, 60 have deployed in the Gulf, and currently 15 are still in the Gulf. And they've deployed on force protection, survive to operate roles, or whatever you want to call it. And I stand here as their OC, and I was commanding them from 3,000 miles away, and believe me, that's bloody difficult. I'll give you some idea of where they've been and what they've done. and I won't hang on too long. We've been to about 6 different countries, individual members of 609 or as groups, from Cyprus. You could argue that's the holiday campsite, but they've been there. We've had one member of the squadron in Jordan. I probably shouldn't be saying that too loudly, but we have. Mainly in Kuwait, at 2 different air bases, principally at Ali Al Salam, which I'm sure if you watch the BBC, ITN, or whatever news, you saw Ali Al Salam. Qatar, we had 15 people in Qatar for about 3 or 4 months. One in Oman, and I'll come on to the final thing a bit later on. Since operations, if you like, the war, as George Bush calls it, finished, we've had people in Iraq. We've had parts of our regiment section in Basra, and we've had one particular, he's not on a reserve, he's full-time reserve, but he's a reservist, and all I'll say is he's gone north of north. And that's all I'll say to you on special duties. So we've had 609 people in lots and lots of places, doing lots and lots of different tasks, like guarding, NBC cell controlling, combat incident teams, but basically protecting the main operating bases. And then I've got a photo in my thing which I've shown to 1 or 2 people, protecting Royal Air Force aircraft and American aircraft and bomb dumps, etc., etc. So the people who are following you, whether it's 50, 60 years on, have gone to war, whatever you want to call it, and have done a superb job. Of the 60 people we sent, both male and female, which is different to what we're talking about in the Second World War, we sent 10 females out there, and every single one of them did a superb job. And there are still 2 out there, been out there 7 months. Both teachers, I estimate. I don't know why they want to stay out there, but maybe it's better than teaching areas. But they've done a superb job, and they really do carry on the tradition, which I see here before me, obviously not over 5 or 6 years, but in the time they've been out there, of people wanting to volunteer and wanting to serve 609. And a final thing I would say to you, they're not all back yet, so we're not celebrating the whole issue, because things can still happen. Because 1 or 2 are still going to places where there is danger. But when they do get all back, we will celebrate the whole thing and say, well done, hope you don't go again too soon. But every single one of them is a volunteer, and they all share the same kind of attitude, I think, which I see here and whenever I attend any 609 association dues. So I'm proud of them, and I think you should be, because they are very, very 609-ish. That's all I'll say. All right? And that's all. Right, so the only reason I stood up was I'm supposed to do a toast, but I thought I'd tell you all that anyway. Oh, one final thing, we have 5 people who've done boat guarding. Right? Which means they've sailed from Kuwait through round the, whatever the Gulf in Aqaba, I think, near Yemen, Red Sea, Suez, Mediterranean, because there is piracy around the Horn of Africa. And that's why our people are boat guarding. So we have now very much a multi-role squadron. I would like you to stand and toast the 609 squadron. 609. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
Back to Jim.
What he's lucky is he says they've got girls in their squadron. while we're standing, please, may I make... Could we toast absent friends, please? Absent friends. Absent friends. Thank you.
That's it, Jim.
That's it?
Unless you've got anything else to say.
No. As long as the chaps will oblige by signing these prints to save me some bankruptcy. Any time you like, come forward please and sign. Thank you. Thank you.